How's it going, guys? This is another tutorial at Tutorials for Skyrim on YouTube. Alright, for once I'm going to start in the creation kit, and then at the end of this part I'm going to head over into Skyrim to show you what we've done. Now I'm currently loading up the data files, and that might have been a bad idea to start recording while it was loading this. No, here we go, we're good. Alright, so today's tutorial, for those wondering, is going to be... I don't really know what I'm going to call it, but what we're going to do, we're just going to sort of make a little campsite for some NPCs. So I'm just going to take you through the process of that. And in case you're wondering why I haven't sort of uploaded a video in a little while, it's because I've recently just got a Wacom tablet, and I've been playing with that. And I didn't really think that this the series of tutorials was going to go too well, so I kind of haven't signed into my YouTube account in a while, but turns out that we're going fairly well. So I think I'm getting about an average of 160 views per video, which isn't too bad. Hopefully we can improve that over time. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, you can follow along if you like, or make yours a little bit different. I'm going to World Space of Tamriel, and we're just going to find somewhere, so just let this load. Not too sure where I'm going to go with this, but what I might actually do is I might start in, let's say, Whiterun world. Head to the Whiterun Plains district, let that load up here in your render window. And for those wondering what this is up the top here, that's called a rocket dock. You can find them by simply doing a Google search, and it's a pretty cool little thing, so yeah, check it out if you're interested. Alright, so now I'm just going, let's just go, what do we got out here? By the looks, there's not too much out here, but it might not have loaded, so I'm just going to head over to this rocky area and let that load. Now what you're going to want to do is find the wilderness that you're at, or whatever your cell is called, and you just want to rename it. This is going to be easier for once in game. Now I'm going to actually zoom in a bit more just to make sure that it's the right cell. Click on that, click again, and it'll let you rename. Now I'm going to call mine some sort of game camp, but for the moment I'm just going to have it as camp. Now the reason we're going to do this is once in game I'm going to show you a little transport sort of console sort of thingamajig. Got a bit lost for words there, guys, so that's all good. Now what I'm going to do is start off by going to all, but before you click on all, a quick tip: if you're going to load all because you're not too sure what subcategory it's in, don't click all straight away. I've had some experience in this. It takes a lot of time to load them all, so the easiest way is to put your filter in first. So I'm looking for some sort of tent, so type in tent, click all, and then you can see here it loads everything with something to do with tent. So the ones you want to look for is with this little icon, because all these are other things, and I know some things, if you put them down and they don't have sort of the static model image, you're going to face a few problems. Now you can just pick what tent you want. You can have an imperial tent, a farmer tent, a Nordic tent. There's quite a few different sorts, so just pick the one that suits you best. I'm going to try with a farmer tent large first, and that's a bit strange. I don't think we won't use that. So I'm going to try a Nordic tent. I don't mind that too much. It's a little bit sort of patchy leather, which looks well, and I'm going to use that for the gang. That's what they're into. So I'm going to put this up on the rock, and if you hold Z and move, it'll move it just on the Z axis, and that's also so if you hold X or Y, you'll move along that specific axis. Now, another tip, I'm going to have a lot of quick tips in this. If you're unsure just where to put your item that you want to place on the ground, move it up a little bit and hit F. And that should place it on the point where your the origin point of your item will drop to the average location of the terrain around that. Now, the reason I say lift it up before you press it, if you press it now, it can sometimes do some funny things. It's not at the moment, but sometimes you can have it that it'll actually drop right down. So if that happens to you, just lift it up and press F. Now, it's not looking too great on the rocks here, so what we might actually do is just move it over here. We're going to, holding the right mouse button, just going to put it there. Now you can see the back sinks in. Now you might not mind that, but I like to have everything to its full potential. So if you press W, it's going to bring up this little rotation widget, and then just moving the preferred axes, you can do some easier rotation rather than double clicking and playing around with these. Now, the other thing you can do is if you press W again, it'll get rid of it, which will allow you to go back into moving, and for some reason we're facing a problem, so just press W, and there we go, we've got our movement back. Now, by the looks of it, before I drop it, I might just try and rotate it. Now, it looks like we have to rotate a little bit this way, and now if we press F, we just do it a little bit more. Press W to take it off, drop it again, and that is looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now, of course, you can scale it up, do all sorts of things, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it like that. Now, what I'm going to do is search for bedroll, and find the one that you like, if you even want to put a bedroll in, but I'm going to put a couple of bedrolls just inside this tent, and using our rotation widget, you're just moving it, press F, drop it to the ground. You can also right click, copy, or duplicate. I'm going to duplicate in this instance, move it over, W, rotate on the Z axis, I believe, and we might need to rotate it this way a little bit, press F, drop it to the ground. Now I'm just going to actually, we might fill it. We might put in 3 bedrolls. I was only going to put in 2, but I've decided, you know, why not? And there we go. Well, see, that's what can sometimes happen, but you just keep pressing F, and it'll eventually bring it back up. So just be careful with that. You can move it up and press F, and it'll drop it for you. Now, it doesn't matter if you get a few little parts that are sort of standing up a little bit. It's not going to be extremely clear once in game. So I'm happy with them. That'll do. Now, we're going to make it so the items are owned, but for the moment we can't because we don't actually have some actors. So we're going to create our actors, come back to the camp and work on that. So I'm just going to move my render window over in the cell view, and let's bring out our object window. Let's bring that out. Alright, click on actor, remove the filter, and I'm going to, let's see if there's a bandit model, and as you can see there's quite a few bandits. You can also right click and preview them. That's not going to work. Just double click on them if that happens. Let it load and preview in full. Now, there's no one there. Okay, so let's try something like this. Sometimes it can take a little while to find the model you're after. Now, I don't really like that too much, so let's continue looking. Here we go. A lost knife bandit sounds pretty cool, but that's a marker. This can take a while. Let's have a look here. An abandoned chief, and that's another marker, unfortunately. This can take a little while. What I'm going to do is just pause the video until I find the model I'm after, and then we'll come back. Alright, hang tight. Alright, so I've found the model I'm after. Now, as you can see here, the reason why there's a count of 0 and users 7, in case you're wondering, what that actually means is that, for example, it's not a single actor. So that they all act the same and work as a gang. Now, we don't want that. We want them to have sort of different things. So I'm going to right-click, duplicate, and find your copy, double-click, and that'll load up. And now, what you want to do is just turn all this off. Now, it's not going to matter if you turn these off because all the properties and stuff have already been selected by using this, so turning this off is going to leave all the properties but also allow you to change them. Now, what they do for sort of templates for a gang or certain things is to actually make a template and have these checkboxes so that you can't change things. Now, we want to be able to change it, so we're just going to unclick everything. Take off respawn, click unique and essential, which means there can only be one and that they can't die. However, we might take off essential, which is what means they can die. So now there can only be one of them in the game at once, and you'll find the problem if you drag two out into your land. So you just need to think of a name. For the purpose of this tutorial, let's just call them the Skyrim gang. So original. And actually, we might change that to the Whiterun because that is where we are. The Whiterun gang, and he's going to be the leader. So we're going to make Whiterun gang leader. Short name Basil. We might make that like so. Alright, so now we're just going to check preview full. You can see what Basil looks like. You can obviously also change some things, make Basil a female, but now this is an all-male gang, one of the rules. So stats, you can leave that or change that. Check out my NPC and follower tutorials, my last two tutorials. They go into a bit more depth. I'm going to delete the faction. Just make sure there's nothing too important that's going to link him to the bandits, because if you have that, he's going to talk about bandit things. I want him very aggressive, not frenzied, and let's make him cautious. And he helps nobody. He's a mean man. He's always angry, and he'll do any crime. He's not worried. Alright, let's move on because this tutorial's dragging on a little bit too much. Now, I'm going to let you guys do as much as you want. I'm not going to change anything for the purpose of saving time, but you, of course, can do what you like. The one thing we might do is just give him, remove some of these, and we'll actually give him some, I'm just going to change him, change what he wears, click that again, it'll load it back up, because I don't want to have him too bandit-like. Let's give him that, that'll do. And I'm just giving him a sword, so just find STE, steel. Let's give him a steel battle axe, will do. Oh, we're going to have to change that. STE. For some reason this isn't working. always when you're trying to be quick. So he's going to have a steel battle axe. And there it is. That's probably a bit big, so let's just change it to a steel dagger. That'll do. Good enough. And you can give him a sword or whatever you like, but just to keep things moving, I'm not going to spend too long. So hit OK, and this is going to ask if you want to create a new form. Now we don't need to because I've already copied the bandit. However, what you could have done is just double click, change things, and then this would have come up. So we're going to go no because we don't need to create a new form. Now it's going to be hard to find, so what I'm going to type in is the Whiterun gang. There we are. Duplicate that, and I'm going to edit him, and we're going to change this one to gang member 1, and Whiterun gang member. He's going to be called Stale, and we're going to take off protected. I don't know why that was clicked. No thank you. Now they're going to look exactly the same. No. Yes. Okay. They're going to look exactly the same, but you can obviously change them around. And if you do, I'd love to see some responses. Chuck some video responses or upload some photos and let me have a look. I'd love to see what you're able to come up with a little bit more time. We're going to change this to gang member number 2, and I can't resist, I'm going to have to change something, so just character gen parts. In case you don't know, check out some of my other tutorials. I cover this a lot more in depth. I'm just going to change his beard and maybe his hair. So just scrolling through till I find what I like. That'll do. You can obviously put scars and all sorts of things to make them look a lot worse. Hit OK. No thank you. No, because I've got to change his name. He's going to be called Bale. No. Yes. Alright, so now what we can do is drag them out into our camp. So put them all around. Doesn't really matter where you're going to put them, and you can see they look exactly the same, which looks a bit silly, but you guys can obviously spend a bit more time, and hopefully you do, because with a bit more time you can make this look fairly cool. Alright, what we're going to do now is just make some ownership. So let's head on into the bets, click ownership, NPC. Now if we type the Whiterun, it's going to come up with this. That's leader, so now we just need to give this to gang member 1 and gang member 2. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do, hopefully I haven't gone too quick. I'm just trying to stick or keep the videos short as I can for you guys that are watching but really get annoyed. Now, I've covered in another tutorial how to do some AI packages. If I'm a bit quick covering this now, just check out that tutorial. So I'm going to double click gang leader 1, let that load up. Now head into AI packages, right click new, sorry, wrong one. I'm going to cancel that. Right click add, and I'm going default sleep in the location, and let's go an 8x8, and that's okay. Hit OK on that. Gang member. Obviously, using my AI packages tutorial, you can add all sorts of things. So we've got carry firewood, we've got all sorts of things. Default, sleep, editor 8x8. So the fact that they actually own these beds will mean that they're going to, hopefully, if we've set it up right, they're going to sleep in their owned bed. So let's head to sleep. Editor, location, and this was a bad idea, but there we go. hit OK, and that's made them sleep. Now, the last thing I'm going to add is in the filter, put in campfire, and I'm heading down to all. Find a campfire. I want mine actually on, so just find it. And as far as I can gather, the icon of these means that they're an animated model rather than a static one, and that's okay to use because if you place one of these, it's not going to affect the game. Sometimes you can get some funny bugs that happen if you've set something up wrong. Now this is a really big campfire. We don't want it that big, so I'm going to make it 0.5, and that's still a little bit too small, so double click and just using your mouse wheel, if you have one, you can just change the size. So we'll just go 0.6 for the purpose of this tutorial. Rotate it a little bit, and there we go. They've got a campfire. Now, spending a little bit more time, you can add heaps of things around their campfire, maybe some small tents rather than one big one. But what I'm going to add now is just show you how to find some sort of basic eating and chairs and that sort of thing. So if you head into, normally if you head into world objects or items, you're going to come across what you need. In this case it doesn't look like it's going to be any of them, but we may try and miss items. And just having a look here, we've got some firewood. If you take off the filter, it'll load it. So there's some firewood there we can place around, and that looks a bit too perfectly cut, so we're going to scrap that. So you can see all sorts of things. There's some charcoal here in the quest, but that's one small piece, so we're not going to use that. But there's some things for the grey fox. There's all sorts of things all over the place. So it's just a matter of trying to find some things. You can put some bones around if you like, if you want to make them look like cannibals or whatever. You can also use filters if you can't find the exact thing and just chuck it into all. You can find some werewolf pelt, all sorts of things. Now what we're looking for is dining set. Now you can see here we've got basic fork, basic knife, plate, wooden bowls, wooden plates. There's no spoon, which seems a little strange, but I'll show you how you can find that next. So I'm not going to spend too long here. I'm just going to chuck out a basic plate, hit F, and because that's over the diameter of that, that's why it won't drop to the ground. There we go. W, rotate it a little bit. As I said, I'm not going to spend too long. I've just got to find basic plate because it's in the dimensions of the campfire. That's why I'm not able to select it as easily. There we go. Drop that down, and it's still. Oh no, that's fine. It's just the bottom of the plate. Chuck out a knife. And using Z to move up, hit F, that'll drop it on top. You can put some forks, you can put all sorts of things. I'm going to go well over time if I show you every little thing I do. What I might actually do though is I'll show you one last thing, and then I will just stop the video, and then I'll pause the video. Then once I've placed everything, set up my campsite, give you guys a bit of time to do yours as well, then we'll both head into the game. Alright, so last thing I'm going to show is filter, spoon, and I've done that wrong, and click all, and you can see here that there's a dwarven spoon, and just by looking, it looks like a sort of wood texture, which will be fine for our bandits. So you can rotate that, put that in. So using your filters, you can find all sorts of things. So have a bit of fun with it. I'm going to pause the video and complete my sort of world space, and I'll see you soon. I might even change around my models, so I'll see you soon, fix up yours, and I'll be back soon. Alright guys, so here you can see I haven't done a whole lot. You know, you guys can probably spend a lot more time. The one thing I have done though is just put a few different animals around. And I'm not too sure how well this is going to work, but if I go into my actors and go Whiterun gang and gang member 2, what I've done is given him an AI package of hunting. So if anything's set with a faction of prey, so let's check out a deer. You can see that once it loads, if you go into faction, you can see it's got prey. Now, one of the things that hunting AI package does is any thing with the faction and prey set, it will allow it to be killed. So I've set out a few, and hopefully these will sort of spread out around the area once the game starts, and they'll disappear. And what I might just quickly do is just go to my Whiterun gang, and I'm just going to actually make a setting in that AI package and set a time for him so that he's not always hunting. Now I'll go conditions, schedule, so let's make it any day, as long as it's, say, let's go 16, 30, and he'll go off for 0.5 an hour. Hit OK, so that'll just mean that these animals will stick around. Now I haven't said anything to make them constantly respawn, seeing as this is just a test, but you can play with anything, test out. I haven't actually tried this, so we're going to see how this will work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've changed around a few things. They still look pretty much the same, which is sort of good. We want them to look fairly similar. Now, let's head across into the game, and we'll check out and see if this has worked. Alright guys, so here we are, and
You've been a good friend to me.
I want to talk to you. Let me get out there. Alright, so I'm in Whiterun, well I will be soon, and the reason we renamed that cell to camp was for a little transport trick that I'm about to show you once this loads up. Alright, so to open up first the console controls, you want to hit the tilde key. Now if you don't know what that is, look to the left side of your keyboard. Obviously you'll see Control, Shift, Caps Lock, Tab, and above that, just under the Escape key is the tilde key. And I'll put maybe a little picture up of it on the screen so you can see what it's like. Now that I bring this up, you can see the game pauses and you get sort of a faded gradient down the bottom. Now if you type COC, Centre of Cell, that stands for, and you space and put camp, that's going to take you to the cell that's called camp. And what that means is we're currently getting transported to our camp. Now here we can see, not too sure what the go with that is. He's angry. But here we are at the campsite. So the bandits are inside, and by the looks of it they look like they're going to fight each other, which is quite funny. I don't really know what they're doing, but you can see that they're angry with me being in their area, and yeah, but as such you can always change that so that they're not as angry as they are, if you'd like, but you know, it adds a bit of fun to the game, adds a gang. You can see up the top, it's got Whiterun gang leader. It's fairly strong, which is good. Exciting, so he knows that I'm going to beat him. So, you can see the camp's loaded up. We've got some sort of ghosty figure that's happening, but you can see that all this is prey, and that it's all trying to attack our poor little ghosty friends, and as you can see, everything else seems to have disappeared, but what you could do is put something maybe out in the forest and put some animals out there. Now, hopefully these two sort out their problem. I might actually cut it out. Come on. They don't actually seem to be attacking each other, they're just, maybe if I do that, that'll separate them.
Puny weakling. I'll show you what a real orc can
do. I'm not too sure what's happened. Hopefully this won't happen to you. I think it might have just been a minor bug that has happened. I think I know what might have happened. Gang member 2, which I'm not too sure out of these two which it is, but what might have happened is that gang member 2, because I've set him to go hunting for prey, for some reason maybe one of these has been linked to that prey thing, but that's all part of the fun. You can see the knives and forks. Now the one thing you will face with some of these is that you can actually pick them up, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, that happens. You can't pick up the knife and fork, but you can pick up the plate. Now I'm just going to check out the time, and it's 1:12. If you remember, we set it to 16, so that's, what's that, 4:30 we set it to, so I might just wait, if I remember how to do so. I can't wait for all the enemies nearby, but I'm just going to move away from them. Still can't wait. Obviously if we took the aggression down a little bit, then maybe they might not want to find each other, so we need to go 2, 3, 4. And that'll put us pretty much right on 4:30, and I'm hoping that one of the gang members may have disappeared off to go hunting. Let's hope he hasn't tried to kill the other one, but fortunately for this gang member, or gang leader, he got away with us. So you can see they're outside now, and they're still as strongly as ever. There is some prey over here, but it doesn't look like so he's going to try and attack me rather than the animal. But that's fine. This hasn't quite worked as well as I would have liked, but obviously if we turn the aggression down a little bit in the creation kit, none of this would have happened. However, as such, I think this is a pretty cool tutorial, and hopefully we can sort something out in terms of the problem with the hunting, but yeah, you know, you face these problems as you go through the game. But thanks for watching, guys. Another tutorial. If you like this, please like, comment, rate, subscribe and share. It would really mean a lot to me. I hope I've helped you out today, and have a bit of fun with making up your own little worlds and spaces and such. But yeah, everything else has seemed to work. We can't sleep in the beds because they're owned by the Whiterun gang. Have fun with it, post some pictures, and let me know how you went. Thanks for watching.